Have you ever felt like you're in the middle of a storm with life's challenges swirling around you? It's a feeling many of us know all too well. Storms in our lives are not always the thunderous downpours we see in nature. They can come as periods of uncertainty, difficulty, or trials that disrupt our daily routine, unsettle our peace, and test our faith. Just like the disciples in the boat with Jesus during a storm, as depicted in Mark 4, verses 35 to 41, we too can feel overwhelmed by the tempests in our lives. The disciples, even with Jesus in their midst, felt fear and panic as the winds howled and the waves crashed around them. Isn't that a familiar scenario? How often do we find ourselves in the midst of life's storms, forgetting that Jesus is right there in the boat with us? But let's reflect on Jesus' reaction in this biblical account. Amidst the storm, he was calm, he was composed, he was in control, and with just a few words, "Peace, be still," he calmed the storm. This story is not just a historical account. It's a reminder to us today that no matter the nature of our storms, Jesus has the power to calm them. So, what are the storms you're facing today? Maybe it's a health challenge, a financial difficulty, a relationship strain, or a personal struggle. Identifying these storms is the first step to overcoming them. It's about acknowledging that we are facing a challenge and understanding that, just like the storm on the Sea of Galilee, our personal storms can be stilled. Our faith can be our guide through these storms, a beacon of light in the dark, turbulent times. It reassures us that even when the waves are high and the winds are strong, we have a Savior who not only understands our struggles, but has the power to calm our storms. Remember, recognizing the storms is the first step to overcoming them. As we journey through life, let's take a moment to identify our storms and remember that we have a Savior who can bring peace amidst the tumult. In the midst of life's storms, we need an anchor, and that anchor is Jesus. Consider the words in Hebrews 6 verses 19 and 20. It speaks of hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. This metaphor of Jesus as our anchor is rich with meaning. Just think about it. An anchor stabilizes a ship, keeps it secure even when the sea is raging. Likewise, Jesus, our anchor, keeps us steady during the turbulent times of our lives. He provides a sense of stability and comfort that is unshakable, no matter how strong the winds of hardship blow. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Can you recall instances where you felt the anchoring presence of Jesus? Those moments when you were buffeted by life's storms, yet you remained steady because of Him. Just like an anchor holds a ship steady, Jesus holds us steady amidst life's storms. Faith, even as small as a mustard seed, can move mountains. This profound message comes to us from Matthew 17, verse 20. Now you might be wondering, how can something so tiny have such monumental power? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the transformative power of faith. Faith isn't about size, it's about strength. It's about the conviction that there is a higher power at the helm, guiding us through the stormiest seas. It's about knowing that even when the waves tower above us, threatening to engulf us, we won't be swallowed up. Because we have faith. Faith that there is purpose in our trials. Faith that we are never alone. And faith that the storm will pass. Imagine being out at sea, the sky darkened by storm clouds, the waves ferocious and unrelenting. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel lost. But now, imagine a lighthouse, its beams slicing through the darkness, providing a beacon of hope. That's what faith does. It illuminates our path, changes our perspective. The storm might still rage around us, but we are no longer lost. We have direction. We have hope. Now let's reflect. Where in your life do you need more faith? Is it in your personal relationships, your career, your health? Identify that area, hold it in your mind, and commit to nurturing your faith in that aspect of your life. Pray about it daily. Seek wisdom and guidance. Let your faith be the lighthouse in your storm. And remember, faith isn't passive, it's active. It pushes us to act, to make changes, to grow. It's not about sitting back and waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain, to embrace the storm and let it shape us, mold us. Faith is the catalyst for transformation. So, as we navigate the storms of life, let's harness the power of faith. Let's cultivate it, let it grow, because faith, even as small as a mustard seed, can move mountains. Remember, faith can bring light even in the darkest storms. Prayer is our lifeline in the storm. Through prayer, we can tap into a source of peace that surpasses all understanding, as beautifully stated in Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. It's an intimate conversation with the divine, a moment of surrender, where we lay bare our fears and anxieties, trusting in a power greater than us. In the midst of life's storms, prayer becomes our refuge. It's not about pleading for the storm to pass, but seeking strength, courage, and peace right in the heart of the tempest. It's about acknowledging our human frailty and leaning into divine strength. We're encouraged to make prayer a daily habit, not just a distress call during storms. It's in these quiet moments of prayer that we grow, that we find peace, and that we are reminded of the ever-present love of God. In the midst of the storm, prayer brings peace. We are not meant to weather life's storms alone. This truth is beautifully illustrated in the book of Acts, chapter 2, verses 42 through 47. Here we see the early believers, united in faith and fellowship, sharing their lives and resources, and supporting each other through life's trials. They were a community, a spiritual family, bound together by their shared faith in Jesus. Now reflect on this. How does your spiritual community support you during life's storms? Perhaps they provide comfort, offer prayers, or help meet practical needs. Maybe they simply provide a listening ear or a shoulder to lean on. But remember, community is not just about receiving support. It's also about giving. So as you navigate your own storms, don't hesitate to reach out to others who might be in the midst of their own. Offer them the same love, support, and encouragement you've received. In our spiritual community, we find strength and support to weather the storm. Every storm we face teaches us something. This is a profound truth we find in the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. These verses challenge us to consider our trials as opportunities for growth and maturation in our faith. In the midst of tempests, we often discover more about ourselves and our relationship with God. We learn about our strengths, our weaknesses, and our capacity for resilience. We find out that our faith, like gold refined by fire, becomes more precious and stronger after being tested. So, let's take a moment to reflect on the storms we've weathered. What lessons have emerged from those tumultuous times? How have those trials shaped our faith, our character, and our relationship with God? I encourage you to jot down some key lessons from past challenges. As we journey through life's storms, let's not forget that these trials are not meant to break us. Remember, storms not only test our faith, they strengthen it. An eternal perspective can change how we view life's storms. In the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verses 17 and 18, we are reminded of the eternal glory that outweighs all our troubles. This eternal perspective, this focus on the unending glory that waits for us, can profoundly transform how we handle life's storms. It's easy to get lost in the immediacy of our struggles, to feel overwhelmed by the raging tempests of our lives. But when we shift our gaze from the here and now and instead look towards eternity, our troubles begin to seem small and fleeting. I encourage you all to meditate on God's eternal promises. Consider the eternal weight of glory that makes our current afflictions seem light and momentary. Ponder the unseen, the eternal, and let this perspective bring a sense of peace amidst your storms. With an eternal perspective, we can view life's storms as temporary and bearable. Thank you for joining us in this spiritual journey. If our message resonated with you, please share it with others who might also find encouragement and peace in our discussions. Would you consider subscribing for more inspiring content? And if you have thoughts or reflections, we'd love to hear them in the comments. Your likes and comments help our community grow and thrive. Blessings on your path, and thank you for your support.